Well, what's going on, guys? And welcome to another edition of Sir Derwin Speaks. It's as always a pleasure to have the opportunity to come to you guys to share with you guys some things that's going to hopefully encourage you, inspire you, or cause you to want to be great in the things that you want to do in your lives. We welcome all the new viewers to the channel and to the current subscribers. We do salute and honor you for being a part of the Sir Derwin Speaks family. And we thank God for the new ones that were coming on board right now. We're raw, we're uncut, we're coming straight off the hip, guys, wanting to give you nothing but authentic encouragement. So oftentimes we hear automated and AI generated voiceovers and things like that. People telling us to be encouraged, but there's nothing like the motivation that you can get when you're dealing or hearing from somebody who's been through some things in their lives. We pray all is well with you. If you're new to the channel, we ask you guys just to stay for a while and hear some of the content. And if you find some value, hit the like button and then become a subscriber and then ring the bell. And then you'll get notified every time we drop some new content. We're just so excited as always, just the opportunity to share some content, just hopefully creating a safe space, with people where we can come and get some real motivation and some inspiration from one another. One thing I've been learning about life is we've got to learn to connect with people, surround ourselves with people with the same mindset and energy, because sometimes it can be some tiresome being around people that are going in the opposite direction. They're doing any and everything and not really focus on what you're wanting to focus on. And so it seems like everybody's pulling against one another. We pray that you're getting into a mindset as we're already in or almost halfway through the month of February, and we just want to just begin to look back and analyze some things in our lives and find out this one thing I've asked time and time again over the years. But I begin to learn and I begin to stop asking this question. But I know there's somebody that's watching this today or that will watch this have asked this same question. Where is the finish line? Where is the finish line? And I know some people are probably saying, man, the finish line is when you're dead. But I'm talking about in the mindset of what we deal with on a day-to-day and the stuff we go through. When does this stuff, the struggles and the hardships, come to an end? When do we finally hit the finish line? That was a question that I would ask, and I would pray and ask God for some answers concerning that. And one thing, always have been in my spirit is that in order for us to get to the finish line, we have to continuously keep moving towards it. A lot of times in our lives, we get so full of stuff. There's so many things going on in our lives. How about you? Do you go through a lot? Are you dealing with a lot of things right now? You notice how overwhelming life is? And you sometimes have asked yourself, when is all this going to be over? When am I going to stop hurting? When am I going to get my healing? When am I going to be able to walk away from some of this stuff that I've been involved in? So many questions that sometimes come in our minds while we're still in the midst of a process, trying to find a finish line, trying to get to the end of the process. But I want to talk to you today about some things that can help encourage you in the mindset of how we actually reach the finish line. The finish line means that we've reached to a place of completion. But in this life's journey that we're living in, we're always being made daily. You notice how day to day we might have the same routines, but our interactions with other people and things we see that we've never seen before, you notice how different they are. I be at a store, I go to the same store, and I go in the store and I'll see some of the same people, but they're acting different from time to time, and it kind of throw me off. Kind of. It's almost like now when we go places now, we got to be kind of paying attention. The news and the stuff we see on the internet. We see so much stuff happening in these stores. It behooves us that we do look around before we just walk into these places. But anyway, I was learning through all of this stuff, that getting back on track was that even in this maze of life that we go through, because I really look at life like a maze. It's like one day you're going this way, you hit a dead end. Then you got to figure out something else and go another direction. Now you're doing things are going good. Uh-oh, you done hit another wall. You got to rethink and retrack and try to get back on track. So life is just that way. I know anybody that's viewing this, I know all of us seemingly sometimes are in a maze. It seems like our life is going a certain direction, then all of a sudden it goes in a different direction. Where is that finish line at? When are we going to ever get to that point in our lives where we can just be easy? I want to tell you when. Stay with me. I'm going to tell you when you really get to the finish line. But what I want to share with you, the real meat of the content is what's the process in heading to the finish line? What is your mindset? What is your growth mindset? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Are we capitalizing on the bad things that have happened in our lives and allow them to be the momentum that we need to go towards the finish line? There's a lot of things that we have to endure and things that we have expected and didn't happen. How did you handle it? How did you handle a broken relationship when it seems like things were on track? When it seemed like your marriage was going well, everything was going great, then all of a sudden you get hit with a bombshell. How about on your job and they just all of a sudden just let you go? That's a current thing in our news today. A lot of federal employees are being laid off due to the restructuring of our government. But, there's so many unexpected things that come that seemingly try to set back. But, really that setback was only a setup to help you move towards the finish line. There's a lot of stuff we could just times we could have given up. Can you remember any times that you just felt like you could just give up? How many times have you felt like that? Just like, you know what? It's not even worth it anymore. There's a lot of times I've given up on some great opportunities. Have you? Have you given up on some great opportunities before where you were moving and things were going well and then all of a sudden you hit a tough spot? And we don't like to be challenged, but challenge produces growth. You go to the gym or you work out, you use more weight and keep doing repetitions, and eventually you're going to get larger or more toner or get whatever you're trying to achieve, weight loss, toning, sculpturing, whatever you're trying to achieve. Resistance and opposition and challenges promote growth. The enemy of our soul doesn't want us to see what direction God is trying to direct you. Your life already has an ordained direction. And it includes some setbacks. But then the growth mindset means I've learned the lesson, and I learned that the failure now is a lesson. I've learned from this. We have to learn. It's imperative that we have to learn from the stuff we go through. Trials and tribulations are just what they are. Trials and tribulations and hardships and things you're going through, they're not going to last. It's only temporary things. And I've always learned that when we go through these types of things, they give us a better experience when we win. How would you know? I say it all the time. How would you know what a win is if you never lost? This is the time now where you've got to focus yourself in 2025. It's like I'm moving faster. I gotta stop letting stuff knock me back and keep me from heading towards the finish line. The finish line is our ambition. The finish line is our motivation. The finish line is our inspiration. Never have your life earmarked with the point where you don't have some types of goals or some things that are already implemented in your lives, because everybody needs to wake up to something to head towards. We know we wanting to live for God and we want to go to heaven, but what about the preparation we also need in our day-to-day life? The mindset that I've got to be better than I was yesterday. I got to be better than I was last year. But then we speak in affirmation that said, I will be better. I will do greater this year than I've ever done before in my life. I'm going to use my gifts and my talents and create wealth so I can be a blessing. I'm starting to see so many things that, is so surrounded around mindset. Having a kingdom mindset. You can't head to the finish line except you have a kingdom mindset, the kind of mindset that where you can look at situations and tragedies and become so disciplined where you don't let them affect you and you become an emotional wreck. Death is a painful thing. Sickness and disease and financial ruins, and these things are tragedies. How is it that we can translate these things in something that we can understand when it's so painful? But you can only do it if you have a growth mindset, a kingdom mindset, a forward mindset. You know what? This is only temporary. What is it that I need to learn from this? Because I'm going to the finish line. I'm not quitting. When we quit, it's so hard to get started again. It's so difficult to get back in those trenches and get back in that saddle. You got to have a made up mind, a kingdom mindset, a growth mindset, that when you come up against something that opposes you, man, I'm going to learn something from this and get stronger. You can't stop. What are you going to stop for? I'm just being honest. What are you going to stop for? What reason would we stop now? If you were to really stop right now and think about what position you are, what good would stopping do right now? But the enemy, the devil, wants us to feel like, we may as well stop. We may as well stop. But what are we going to stop for, and what are we going to stop to? The blessings is in the fact that when we keep moving forward in the midst of adversity. Do you go through adversities? How often do you go through struggles? Do you ever think about getting to the end? When everybody says we on the road, we on a journey, when does it end? People say, when you die. But there's the process. It's the making and the creating and the recreating. Do you know that the world desires to have our minds all over the place? The world doesn't want us to have consistency, loyalty, integrity, respect, and honor for one another. The enemy doesn't want you. The enemy of your soul doesn't want you to see your potential. He doesn't want you to see that you can make it to the finish line, that you're going to keep on pushing, even in the hardest times of your life. Man, I'm heading towards the finish line. I'm pushing all the way. We talked the other day, just yesterday's video, what did the bottom look like? What did it look like when you started on your journey? What did it feel like coming out of that bad marriage, that bad relationship? Dropped out of school, incarcerated, sickness, disease. body. Come on, there's so much that we go through from year to year. I've seen people that can be look like picture of health 1 year. In a year's time, they look like they've been sick for years. It was said one time that your level of breakdown slows down more if you're in better shape. I say if your body gets sick or you get afflicted with something, some disease or something, and your body's going to break down, it's going to break down slower if your body's healthy, more so than if you're unhealthy. So there's a lot of benefits to understanding that moving forward towards the finish line means we also have to be conscious about another direct aspect of our life, which is nutrition. Man, I eat so much junk. I understand all the stuff about processed and enriched and all that, and I still do it. But I'm talking about trying to get to a place, towards the finish line, which means a total 360-degree application in every area of our lives. We can't pick and choose what we want to be better at. We want to become a better person so that whatever areas we have to deal in, we deal with them just the right way. Do you struggle with that? Do you struggle with trying to treat people the right way? Saying the right things, doing the right things, handling things the right. Come on, I'm talking about really digging in deep. When you're on the way towards the finish line, you're going to lose a few people, a few friends. When you're starting to increase, man, jealousy rises. It does it. I don't know if it's natural. What do you guys think? Do you think that when a person begins to rise, that jealousy just naturally arises? Or I think that sometimes people were jealous already before you got the increase. I do. And I just think that's just like insult to injury. They already were jealous, and then you get blessed right in front of them, and now it's like insult before injury.